Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Scarlett, and in today's video we are building a Japanese macaque habitat in Planet Zoo as promised. But before we get any further along with the video, please make sure to subscribe if you haven't already and give this video a big thumbs up if you have enjoyed. So with this habitat, I actually had I thought I had recorded something whilst my friends were over, and it seemed that I didn't, but then when I look back at it, I realised that that wasn't actually one of the best things that I've ever done in my Planet Zoo building career. So we had to start something new, and I really could not, I knew what I want, but I could just not put it together. Like, if you had all of the pieces of a jigsaw and you just couldn't get started, that's how it felt, because I felt like I didn't have enough inspiration. So I was like, okay, let's move on to pathing. I know what I'm going to do with my paths. Yes, moving on to pathing. And then I tried something with glass, which you are just about to see on the screen right now, and that again didn't work. I just didn't like it because I don't think it looked right. So I was really just running out of inspiration, and I really wasn't, sure what to do with this build, because I knew how I wanted it to look, but I didn't know how to do it, if that makes any sense. So I had to go back to my original plan a lot of times. I had to go back to the doll sheep habitat and just have a little look at that. And what I find helps me a lot when I don't know what to do on Planet Zoo with a habitat is just get the animals in. So after a while I was just like, oh my god, I cannot do this. So I just got some good Japanese macaques in, because I feel like it also puts it to very good scale, because sometimes when you don't do it, you're like, oh, is this going to be big enough? Is this going to be too small? And then when I got the Japanese macaques in, I realized they needed a lot of climbing space. So off camera I added a few more ugly little bits of climbing frame, mostly in the little glass over bit. I'm not going to call it a shelter because it's one little bit, and the Japanese macaques don't really class it as a shelter either, but you'll hopefully see what I mean. I'll point it out when we get to it. But then I went back to the climbing frame because I had a bit of an idea. Oh, and by the way, we also have some serious issues with escaping, because I was like, how am I supposed to do with this with the doll sheep barrier? It's just going to think that it's a different barrier. That probably won't make any sense, but in my head it makes sense. So in Planet Zoo, if you have two barriers connected to each other, that's two different habitats. But if you go in between, why am I telling you guys this? You already know. I'm going to explain it. But if you go in between, that's going to class as a different habitat. So they would actually get an even smaller space, and it would also class as doll sheep escaping a lot. So yes, I had loads of issues with escaping, and I had loads of issues with the barrier because I just couldn't get it to change to null. But then I looked on a wider scale, and I thought about what I wanted to do with the rest of the zoo. So I made this little pond thing that has a path going over. I just cut out some of the laying of the path because, it's where you change a skinny queue into a actual path that people can walk over. And I was thinking at first to maybe have a water-dwelling animal in it, but then all of the animals that I could add there were mostly living in the tropical region. I didn't want to add the saltwater crocodiles. I didn't really want to add the caimans because they just feel like they would fit in my tropical region instead. And I didn't want to add the gharials. I don't think. Nah, I don't want to. So I'm gonna leave it how it is for now. On the side that the queue goes over, it's gonna feel very closed off and very private, and it's gonna be more of a place for the adults, or just more of a place to sort of sit down. I felt, sorry, I'm completely changing the subject now just because I saw it on screen. I felt like I got a lot of Japanese macaques, but I really only got 12, but then it looked like so much, and as I've already mentioned, they need so much climbing space. So I got a little bit angry at them, but then I was like, they're monkeys, they're gonna need some climbing space, okay, Scarlett? So I just needed a bit of a moment to zen, to make me realise that the Japanese macaques are in the right, and I just need to give them a good habitat. Me, I didn't really focus on the terrain too much because I wanted more snow and less long grass, but I could, well, if it's the way that, how did he escape? Oh yeah, like that. But if it was the way that I wanted it to be, I just couldn't have loads of snow in there, so I'm very sorry, Japanese macaques, but they seem quite happy with their habitat. This habitat is a very foresty habitat, like a taiga, temperate sort of forested habitat, as you can see me just dealing with escapees. And this bit is actually, this is the shelter bit that I mean, that's not a shelter. I don't know, I felt like it was just a point of interest, because sometimes in habitats you just need that random thing that doesn't exactly fit in, but that just adds like a point of interest, because sometimes you feel like you just have to build something, and it actually fitted in really well because you could only see a little bit, but you could see it. And then it had a little bit of a glassy roof, as I think I've already mentioned. So for the platform, I considered an animal talks point, but I didn't really see that fitting in with the overall theme. I think if there are a lot of habitats where I'm considering, you know, putting an animal talk point in, I might just make that a little bit of a theme of the zoo. But for now, I just think I just want to keep it a little bit more rustic, a little bit more simplistic. Not that that's like very hard to do, it's like one thing, but it's got like loads of different colours, like purples and greens, and nah, I just didn't feel like that. So I didn't really want to do that, and also it wouldn't really work right now because just below that there's all of the rocks, as you can see, but there's even more rocks later, I think. There definitely is. So that wouldn't work, so they would just be throwing it onto the rocks. This is where my little pond comes in, and I experimented with so many different colours in this because I love the colour changing ability in it. I think it's so cool. And then I added like rocks in the middle. I really like it. Sorry. But quickly I just want to mention our first video that we posted. I cannot believe the amount of interest that it got, because I'm actually recording this like only a couple of days after we posted the last video, and wow, I cannot believe the amount of interest that it got, and I just want to thank all of you guys that watched that video, because me going back to the doll sheep habitat, because I just wanted some continuity. But sorry, I'm not sure what that was. I don't know if it'll appear on your screen, because it was just such a hit so quickly. I was preparing myself for like 1 or 2 people to see it, like my relatives to see it, because I just wanted to tell them about it. But it wasn't. It was like I I think it's like in the 30s now, and it's, oh my god, it's great. So thank you for all of your support on that video. It's absolutely incredible. So in this pond, first I wanted to have a electrical fence, but then I decided against it because I was like, that's not see me messing around with the colours. Oh, Scarlet. Because I thought that that wouldn't be very natural, and if something did end up touching it, dead. And then I added a few more trees around the edges of the rocks, and some more reeds. And I think that's all that there is for me to tell you about the rest of the speed build. So I'll leave you guys here for now, but I'll come back in the end for the walkthrough. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you very, very shortly. So we are back in my third recording of the real-time part, because the other recordings just went wrong. So on this platform I'm actually thinking, oh yeah, I think I should add some benches. As you can see, it just wouldn't have worked with the animal talk point though, especially if I'm going to add benches, it just wouldn't have fit. something being boxed for some reason. There's my little climbing frame that I sort of cut out of the video because it was just me messing around with some climbing frames and their enrichment. And they're so cute. And you won't be able to see as much of the rest of the river there because it'll mostly be blocked off. I'm not sure how yet, but we may see in the episode after next, or maybe not. Here's my little reed patch in the Dar sheep habitat. They're so cute. But thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I really hope to see you all in the next video. Bye!